2025 is shaping up to be a great year to upgrade to a new laptop from Microcenter. With the sunset of Windows 10 just around the corner and the plethora of new features that are being added to Microsoft's new suite of Copilot Plus PCs, there's a lot going on in the laptop world. For instance, we have a new chip maker in the mix when it comes to Copilot Plus PCs, with AMD's new Ryzen 300 series mobile processor, the Ryzen AI 9 HX370. This is a powerful yet efficient processor that is one of the many features of the very sleek-looking Asus Vivobook S16 that makes it an ideal candidate to be your next laptop for work or productivity. This laptop is packed with some top-tier features, the most notable being the screen. This Vivobook has an OLED panel, or organic light-emitting diode panel. And OLED is my personal go-to for any screen, since it gives great color rendition and true blacks. And that means that each individual pixel is an LED that can physically turn off. And that gives a true black, which means that there's no screen bleeding on the edges like you would get with other panels. Now, some OLED panels can be very dim, averaging at around 200 to 250 nits. But the OLED in the Vivobook S has a peak brightness of 600 nits and an average brightness of 400 nits. And this means you'll have no time seeing things in bright, sunny rooms. So it's great for working from home. This is just the panel type. There's so much more going on here with a massive 3.2K resolution, and that's 3200 pixels across and 2000 pixels high, and that gives the sharpest and clearest image with plenty of screen real estate on this 16-inch screen. It also has a 120 Hz refresh rate, which some people would label as a gamer-centric feature, but a higher refresh rate gives a better overall viewing experience while navigating windows, scrolling through long web pages. It just makes everything look snappier and feel more fluid versus a standard 60 Hz. And trust me, once you try it out, you'll really notice the difference. The OLED panel also has an ultra-fast 0.2 millisecond response time and a 100% DCI-P3 color gamut. And this is giving the best color rendition, not just for creative work, but also for watching Netflix or Hulu. Movies would look really great on this Vivobook, and they would look just as good on an OLED TV. So this is an ideal traveling companion for those long flights. I mean, who really wants to watch Dune 2 on their phone? We talked about the screen a lot because there's a lot to say about it, but there's so much more going on under the hood of this Vivobook S that makes it ideal to be your next laptop for an all-day carry. Now, back to the processor. The AMD Ryzen AI 9 HX370 is part of the Strix Point family of processors, and that comes with 12 cores, 24 threads, and a default TDP of 28 watts. This all means that you're getting the best balance of power with more cores while operating at an ideal wattage for a mobile device that ensures that you get all-day battery life while keeping up with very demanding work. This is paired with an AMD Radeon 890M, which is an integrated graphics, making this less of a gaming-centric laptop and more of a well-rounded everyday work device that can even handle some light creative work in Photoshop or Illustrator. The HX370 also has an NPU, or Neural Processing Unit, which is capable of 50 TOPS for AI use. Now, we'll touch on that a bit later. Spec-wise, you're also looking at 32 gigabytes of LPDDR5X RAM, giving plenty of memory to have as many Chrome tabs open as you desire, as well as 1 terabyte of SSD storage. And it's really nice to see 1 terabyte SSDs be the default storage capacity on many of these devices. It also has Wi-Fi 6E, so you have among the best wireless speeds, minus Wi-Fi 7, and it's also paired with Bluetooth 5.3. Now, I mentioned battery life before, and that's a key feature of the Vivobook S, with a battery life north of 14 hours, depending on your usage and settings. It has a 75 watt-hour battery that's capable of fast charging to 60% in around 50 minutes, so you don't have to be locked down to the nearest outlet constantly, and you can travel with peace of mind knowing you'll have plenty of battery life as you go. Now, Asus had to put a little pizzazz in the Vivobook S, which is why you have the single zone RGB backlight on the keys here with a variety of settings and colors to personalize your Vivobook, which you can see right here. Lights up a very nice microcenter blue. And the keyboard itself is a really nice low profile, clicky, and responsive keyboard that also fits a full numpad on the side, which that's always a welcome feature for me. I find it hard to live without a numpad, so having the keys over here is a necessity, and any laptop over 15 inches, in my opinion, really needs to have a numpad. You'll also notice the newest keyboard feature to Copilot Plus laptops, with the new Copilot key, which can bring up the Copilot AI dialog at the press of a button. It also is a fully customizable button, so you can change it to any other setting that you choose. And we'll touch on Copilot a little bit later. Now, the trackpad is actually 40% larger than the previous generation of Vivobooks, and it comes with all of the controls that you know and love with swipe, pinch, zoom, as well as a few others. Now, you can swipe up and down on the left side for a volume control. You can swipe up and down on the right side for a brightness control, but then on the top, you can swipe left to right to scrub through video playback. So if you're watching any videos, you can scrub through those. Now, the Vivobook S has plenty of USB ports, 2 USB-A, 1 USB-C 3.2, and 1 USB 4, which will give blazing fast speeds. And this is ideal for external drives or external monitors, so you can have a multi 4K monitor setup if you choose. There's also one HDMI port for more external monitors and a 3.5mm audio jack, which is something that I hope laptops never lose. While I love my Bluetooth headsets, having a 3.5mm jack for my wired headphones is a great backup for the days that I forget to charge my Bluetooth headset. I mean, let's face it, it happens. Now, there's a 1080p front-facing camera with a privacy shutter, as well as the IR function for Windows Hello, which is actually my preferred login method. You just open up the notebook and it'll see your face and it'll log you right in. So no need for a PIN or a password. If you're like me, where you open and close your notebook constantly, it's really a must-have feature. Now, the AMD CPU has a robust cooling system with 2 intake fans on the bottom, which are connected to dual heat pipes to disperse any heat, and there's exhaust right out the back. So it'll keep the Vivobook nice and cool. And this is a lightweight and ultra slim chassis, only 0.63 inches in thickness when it's closed, and it's only 3.31 pounds. And this really makes it an easy all-day carry. Now, I went to CES recently, and I have a much heavier 16-inch laptop that I keep in my bag all day. It can be such a drag. So I really welcome any laptop that is both ultralight and ultra powerful. Since we covered just about everything with the Asus Vivobook S, there's one last thing to dive into, and that's Copilot. Over the last year, we've seen Microsoft roll out Copilot in many forms, with integration in the Edge browser allowing you to summarize web pages, you can ask questions and do all kinds of AI tasks online. Then came Copilot, the desktop app, which is a kind of personal assistant that's integrated into your local system. And now we have the Copilot Plus PCs, which debuted last year. Now, a Copilot Plus PC is a PC that meets the minimum requirements set by Microsoft that allow for AI to occur locally or on the device itself, rather than in the cloud, which is how ChatGPT works. Now, a Copilot Plus PC requires at least 16 gigabytes of RAM, 256 gigabytes of SSD storage, and a minimum of 40 TOPS, or trillions of operations per second. Now, that last bit is a key measurement, since the AMD processor in this Vivobook S is capable of 50 TOPS with its neural processing unit that's dedicated for local AI use. This means you have more than enough power to run local AI tasks, such as running a local model like Llama 3.1, one of the smaller ones, or you can even do some basic tasks like background removal on video calls and enhanced audio to remove background noise, which I know sound like very simple features, but they actually step up your video call quality quite a bit. So paired with a Vivobook S, if you have, let's say, an outbound sales position that requires you to meet with clients regularly, but you travel often, these AI features paired with this hardware allow for the best presentation possible. And speaking of presentation, we did a video about what Copilot is capable of since it's now integrated in all of Office 365 apps. You can take any Word doc or literally any email, and Copilot will generate a PowerPoint presentation in seconds. But it's not just some slides with text parsed onto it with no design or any thought put into it. The AI features of Copilot actually allow it to understand the subject matter, break down the information in a really clear way, and tell a story with design elements that are relevant to the subject matter. Again, let's say you travel a lot and you need to give a presentation to one of your remote teams on standards and practices, but you don't have this in a presentation format, just a Word document. You could use Copilot to take all of the information in your Word doc and generate an insightful and well-designed presentation. When we talk about productivity gains with AI, this is the kind of stuff that we need. You can even do pivot tables and ask questions in Excel on the fly. And this is coming from someone who barely knows how to make a pivot table. All of this is to say that the dedicated on-device AI that these Copilot PCs offer are very enticing reasons to upgrade to a new laptop like this Asus Vivobook S16. Because as hard as you work, the device should be working even harder for you. And if you want to check out the Asus Vivobook or any other Copilot PCs, be sure to stop by your local microcenter and talk to one of our knowledgeable associates, and be sure to ask about our protection plans to ensure that your on-the-go device is protected no matter what life throws your way. And if you don't have a microcenter near you, then comment #IWantAMicrocenter near me.